Hello and welcome. On this episode of Abby Normal Garage, we're in the shop starting to work on our neighbor's 1960s International B414 Diesel. So what we got on the docket for this thing is we got first a busted upper radiator hose. I've got that on order. Unfortunately I can't do it today. We're going to change the oil. I had to order a filter because no one stocks it local. We're also going to change the lower radiator hose, which is on the other side. We're going to start by doing the work on the dash. None of these gauges work. We did manage to get the lights working the other night when we were playing around with it, but he has all new old stock gauges, and we're going to go ahead and replace all these. So we'll go ahead and we'll pull out all these screws, and we'll get this apart, and we'll come back to you. Look at these beautiful new old stock gauges. I don't think Abby likes this thing. It takes up her laying space. What do you think? She's like, shit. Well, this escalated quickly. It's got a rat nest in here. And it looks like some jury-rigged starter solenoid thing, which I don't understand why it would be there, because the actual starter solenoid is here, actuated off of the switch on the starter. On this tractor, you pull this lever and it actuates the switch, which triggers the starter solenoid. So yeah, I'm not sure what that is. We're going to have to try to find a wiring diagram and figure out what they were trying to do. Well, we've got this thing apart. We've got our mouse nest cleaned out. Everything looks pretty good. We've hit a couple snags at this point. I started trying to figure out what's up with this jury rig thing here, and I realized that they're using it as a relay for the glow plugs. So I don't so much have an issue with that. More so how it's done, so we'll probably do it better than that, I think. But in tracing the glow plug issue, I'm pretty sure these are supposed to have isolators on them, which are gone, which would create a dead short. So that's probably why the glow plugs don't work. So we went ahead and ordered one of these. It should be here in about a week. But then I said, well, okay, let me switch the gauges out and see what happens. I notice that the oil pressure gauge has this little tit on it, and that little tit fits into this line. This oil pressure gauge does not have that. This is your standard compression fitting. So obviously we're going to have to change the end on this oil pressure line. Let's show them what we got going on with this tachometer. Alright, so this is as tight as I can get it back there, and it doesn't tighten up. So we're going to have to reshape this bracket and fix that. So we cheated. We put this tension device around here to pull the tabs in, and then we're going to use this more correct tool to kind of tighten it in there. Now we just cut that zip tie and that's a done deal. Well, looky here, another issue with the Tack. I'm starting to wonder if these are cheap reproductions. So this is as tight as it could be, and it still wiggles like this. The old cable on the tractor probably wouldn't do this, but the key doesn't fit. So we're gonna have to figure this problem out too. Pull this gauge out. I'd say that was bad. I think it's interesting. None of the original gauges have lights. So, oh, come on. There we go. Yeah. We're gonna have to wire those up. We got that installed. Need to figure out what to do with the oil pressure line. I'm gonna hold off on installing the temperature gauge for now because it has that metal tube, and if you bend it too many times it would break and that would make the whole gauge junk. So we'll wait to put the temperature gauge in until we get the glow plug situation figured out. We're back for a mid-project update. We got our ammeter installed. We got our oil pressure gauge installed. And we untaped all of this wiring to try to figure out what's going on with the glow plugs. So these wires here are completely melted. This brown with the yellow stripe goes from this solenoid to this glow plug indicator, resistor type thing. This green wire actually goes to the glow plugs. So I think I can reroute the brown with the green stripe to get the length I need to cut out the damaged wire. The brown with the yellow stripe, we're probably just going to have to replace. I went through here. This black wire here is for a horn. This tractor does not have a horn. I took my tester here, and this terminal on the light switch has power on the first notch and every other notch, and I tapped my gauge wiring into that. So as soon as you turn the light switch in the on position, all your gauge lights will come on, no matter what position you have the switch in. This tractor is kind of neat because it actually had a provision for high beams and low beams. It had a plow light that you could light up just the back, so it's kind of cool. I unwrapped the gobbledygook that was around this solenoid, and I just don't like how it's laying in here freely. We're going to try to mount this on the back side of this plate, and hopefully it'll fit. I don't think I mentioned it yet, but this is actually a positive ground tractor, so it's making the wiring diagrams a little different for me, but it ain't too bad. I do want to go ahead and clean all the battery contacts, because like every single contact on this thing smokes when it's cranking. Like you get smoke from here, you get smoke from both sides of the solenoid, and you get smoke from the starter. So obviously we need to clean those up. Well, Abby, we're back again for the second day on our neighbor's International tractor. This time we actually have some parts. We got our lower radiator hose, upper radiator hose, oil filter, and our glow plug indicator resistor. We just got back from the auto parts store, and we got an oil pressure line kit that fits the gauge, but we'll have to replace the line in the whole tractor, but that's no big deal. And we figured out a solution to our wobbly cable sheath. We went to the hardware store and got 2 of these plastic washers, and we ground them down to fit inside our nuts. So we're going to go ahead and put these in. I've already tested it. It works great. Okay. Put our cable in. There you go. Tighten our nut up. Like so. Look, Ma. No more wobbling. Isn't that great? But before we worry about the gauges, I'm going to put the glow plug indicator in and get the glow plug system wired up. So to do that, we'll have to get a bigger adjustable wrench. That's pretty tight. There we go. Alright, we got it. I tell you what, working around this camera sucks. Oh yeah, I'd say that's junk. That was nothing but a dead short. That's probably why all these wires are melted. Now here's the new one. The new one's in a totally different style, But it's all I could find for International Harvester, so I'm going to assume that it's going to work. Now we put the cover back on. Okay. We got our connections made for the glow plug indicator. We'll get our test light out here and we'll test it. See, right now it's not getting power. Hit the button, solenoid clicks, power's getting through it. So we at least know that power is getting through the glow plug resistor. So we'll go ahead and test power at the glow plugs, make sure they're getting power. But if the glow plugs are good, they should work. Okay, we are back. Since we were last here, we bolted the oil pressure gauge back in. We got the temperature gauge mounted. We got the temperature tube thing ran. That was a pain. Now we're hooking up the lights. So okay, this wire will go to the Tack speedometer, which is not installed yet. Next, we're going to go ahead and get our new oil pressure line routed. That should be pretty simple. It goes from up here, comes down behind this dash, and comes out here. It's this line right here, into this clamp, kind of bends down under the fuel pump, and goes to this fitting on the block. So should be pretty easy to do. We're going to go ahead and do it, and we'll be right back. We were just over here listening to James Taylor, thinking how sweet it was to be loved by her. Wonder if she feels the same way. Alrighty, shall we give them an update? Okay, we got our gauge cluster kind of set in position. We got our compression adapter on our gauge. We got our line hooked up. We're about ready to put this dash on and test the lights. So far so good. All the gauges are lit up. And the solenoid for the glow plugs even works. I got power to the glow plugs, although the little indicator, I haven't seen it glow yet, so maybe there's a problem elsewhere. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and run the Tack cable now. I think what we'll end up doing is electrical taping the new cable to the old cable and then pulling it through. I was really trying to avoid removing the fuel filter, but this part of the old temperature sending unit was stuck in the fitting, and you can't get a wrench back there to get to it with the fuel filter. So we're in it now, buddy. So not only do we have a mess on our hands, but now we're going to have to reprime the low pressure side of the fuel system. Well, anyway, I don't know if we're going to get it running again today or not, but we have to take this fitting out of the block for the temperature gauge. We just couldn't get a wrench in there past the fuel filter. It's kind of a shame. And here comes the water. See? Stuck. That sucks. Fortunately, the new gauge comes with one. So we got it coated with reactor seal. I don't know if this stuff is water soluble or not. I doubt it. The new one appears to be a 7/8. Give it one more for good measure. Okay. Let's fish our sending unit back. Alright, temperature sending unit's in. Now we'll put our fuel filter back in. Good news is it looks good, so we don't have to worry about a fuel filter issue. So I kind of cheated here a little bit. Once I got the fuel filter back on, I loosened up the outlet fitting on the filter, and then I pumped the hand primer on the pump till it came out. I didn't get it on film because it took a while. It's day 3 working on this thing. Now yesterday I figured out that there's something wrong with the glow plugs, and I did a little bit of research on them, and on this generation of tractor they were all wired up in series. So theoretically I should be able to figure out which one of these is bad by testing where the power stops with the test light. I don't know if this is accurate or not, but maybe it'll give me a better idea, so hold on a second. So I've got my test light on the positive post of the battery. Alright, so it works. Now I'm going to hit the button for my solenoid. Okay, cylinder number 4 has continuity. The rod coming out of cylinder number 4 has continuity. Cylinder number 3 has continuity. The rod coming out of cylinder number 3 has continuity. Where's the button? Alright. Okay. Okay, I got it there. Okay. I got it coming out. Okay. Okay, I don't have it on cylinder 1. Or coming out of cylinder 1. So if that test is accurate, the number 1 glow plug is bad. And because everything's wired up in series, if any one component is bad, nothing works. So we'll ask the customer if he wants to try to change that glow plug and hopefully get the glow plugs working again. Considering how old they are, it might just be better to change all of them, but we'll see what he says. Well, so the tachometer hooks up to this, and I believe that this is ran off the camshaft. It's got a screw in the end of it. It looks factory though, so I doubt it's messed up. How to get something in there to get it out is the next question. Okay. Okay, good. It ain't in there tight. Okay. Maybe we don't have to take it all apart then. Thank goodness. Let's fish our cable over. And hopefully the cable fits it. It's a little concerning. It like just dropped on without any effort. Or more so that it don't fit. Oh my God. Look. The nut does not fit the speedometer drive thing. So getting the tack working is not going to happen with this cable. Kind of sucks about the tack, but we'll move forward from that. We'll have to do some more research. Being the glow plugs don't work, we're still using starting fluid. Set the throttle. Let's give it a quick test run. We got our hoses changed. this is definitely going to be a two-part video. We've got a charging system that doesn't work. We've got a radiator that leaks. We got glow plugs that don't work. And we got a tachometer cable that needs revisiting. We did end up changing the oil. It was black as could be. Probably needed to be done. Well, we're going to go ahead and partner with our neighbor and see which problem he wants to tackle first. My suggestion is the cooling system. Feel free to like the video, share it with all your International Harvester friends, and subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed. And we'll see you on the next episode of Abby Normal Garage.